Today we're going to see how you can unlock some of the advanced building and developer features of BuildShip so that you can build like a developer, but visually and unlock its full potential. Just like when we're developing software, you can use BuildShip to test every part of your workflow and ensure you're building the workflow that is correct and works. Let's take an example here. I've got a REST API called Trigger that returns hello world. Let's say I want to add a node that turns everything into lowercase. We've got a node for that, which we could of course generate with AI, but we already have something existing here. So any input text will be turned into lowercase. We can dive right away into the code, and as you can see here on the right, we've got our fairly straightforward code that returns the text that's input as lowercase. But we can also test it here on the left. If I were to put in a sample value like hello world in all caps, at the top right here, we can click on test node and check it out. It's going to use that input text to try out my node in real time without having to compromise my workflow by potentially shipping something that's not working. So we can see here our result is hello world, and we can even copy that value if we want, and we can see that everything is working fine. Now that's great, but there's even more that we can do here. We can use BuildShip to tweak the inputs of our node. We can see here, for example, that the text, we've got a key, a label, a description, a data type for this input, or even whether it's required or not, and whether it's sensitive or not. Furthermore, we've got advanced features like validation regular expressions and the default value of that input. The same goes for being able to tweak the output or even the info of that node. Once you're satisfied with the changes that you've made to your node, you can click Save, and that node will be ready. And you can continue building your workflow. Let's say I wanted to customize this node. One of the things we can do is edit this node with AI. For example, if I click here on the magic wand button, let's say I want to modify this node to append to the end the string world. Notice I put a little space there. All I need to do is click on generate. And now BuildShip is going to use AI to tweak this node so that it returns that world bit at the end. Check it out. All done without needing to write any code. Using AI, BuildShip kind of becomes your coding buddy. You can essentially use its assistance every step of the way. Now that it's done, let's see how it changed. So check it out. Again, without writing any code, it now appends world to the end. Let's try it out once again. See, we can continuously test our node. I'm going to click here on test node, and we'll see what happens. Fantastic. And as you can see, we now have hello world returned from our node. Let's say we're pretty happy with this node and we're going to go ahead and ship it. I'm going to click on ship and check it out. So when we have nodes that have required fields, BuildShip is going to double check to make sure that these are being filled in and are valid. So let's tweak that a little bit. Let's try hello here. Ship once again. Great. Now that that's shipped, we can copy this endpoint URL and try it in an API testing environment like Hopscotch. However, my keen eye found an issue here. You see, the value that I'm returning is not that lowercase value. So I'm going to bring up the editor and use that output from the text to lowercase and append world node. So now it's going to be returning the string that I want. I'm just going to go ahead and ship that again. Fantastic. So we're all set. But let's just say I accidentally shipped the wrong version and I want to go back to the previous version. I can do so using BuildShip. Now, BuildShip offers version control in all of the pro or paid plans. And this way you're able to build collaboratively, easily, see who changed the nodes, and go back in time to one of those versions of the workflow. So let's restore a version from the past. And we're all set. I want to take a moment to highlight one more advanced piece of functionality in BuildShip that makes debugging your workflows as smooth as possible. And that's the logs. At the bottom of the window here, we can call up not only the last 7 days of logs, we can make these auto-fetch, for example. We can filter them as whether they're logs, warnings, or errors, and do so for individual nodes. And we can use these in order to examine, for example, our hello world function finished, we can see how long it took, and we can get a payload of data that was run through it. And so you have a complete logging here. This gives you the full flexibility and extensibility with code, so you can build like a developer, but in no-code style, all visual, which is amazing. See you in the next video.